337-584-2451, and I guess you'd say Melvin might be a suburb of Wilmington or something like that. I don't know what you'd say, but anyway, they have custom agricultural application, liquid and dry fertilizers, custom agricultural chemical applications, soil sampling, crop planting, seed sales, and you can call Paul Harris at 937-584-2451 for your agricultural crop needs. Well, we are joined this evening. I'm Lee Hindy, and I'm joined by head basketball coach James Huff, and he's got some players here with us. But Coach, you've been coaching now in the East Clinton system for a number of years.
Yeah, I've been in the system since 2005. Woody's dad, Larry, and we coached reserve baseball for a year, and then just came back up through the varsity ranks.
Okay. What have you learned over the years? And of course, you probably played a lot of baseball in your younger days, and you grew up in the East Clinton area?
Born and raised.
Born and raised. You might want to hold that microphone up a little. There you go. Now, what position did you play in baseball?
I was a catcher from start to finish.
You got to be tough to be back there every game, don't you?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Your knees held up all right and everything?
Back then, yeah.
It can be tough back there. But you're off, I guess you got an 0-2 record now, but things are looking up. You've got some young players in the system.
Yeah, we finished last year with 8 lettermen leaving not leaving, but 8 lettermen looking into this year. We only lost one from last year, Matt Tackett, for graduation.
Mm-hmm.
But when we came in this year, we looked good in our meeting. We had 34 kids show up, and only 17 of them come out to play. So kind of looked bad for the reserve program, but I just kept them all, and don't want them to get discouraged and tell them all to come back next year, and with a little bit of experience.
Well, really, I guess the whole athletic program at East Clinton kind of in a rebuilding phase. We're getting new coaches and new head coaches, and we're getting some East Clinton alumni back in the system. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, that's always been a dream of mine when I didn't further my career into the baseball world, but is to be a varsity coach here in our baseball program, and it finally came true this year, and I look forward to building a little program in baseball.
Well, that's great. As a country school, you've got some of the young farm boys out there that can play a little bit. I see them smiling down there. They look like they like that comment. But who are some of your assistants now?
I got my oldest son, Zach Huff. He's an assistant, and one of my freshmen ball players, his dad's been helping us out a little bit.
Okay.
Chad Cornwell.
Mm-hmm.
He's been helping us keeping the books, and of course, with the work that Zach does, he can't be there all the time, so
right.
He steps in and
takes care. Good. Well, let's introduce the players back there that you've got with you. Hopefully we've got them all on camera. I know the one guy down on the end, he's already on with basketball or football, but go ahead and give us your name.
My name's Garrett Woods.
All right. And tell us a little bit about your baseball skills here. What position you play and what you do.
Position-wise, I play anywhere in the infield. I play second, mostly second, shortstop, and third. I played first before. I don't mind playing first, but I'd rather be at second.
Mm-hmm. So you prefer second base, but you can play most of the middle infield positions.
Yes, sir.
Good. How long have you been playing baseball? I'm sure you've been coming up in Little League and all that too.
Around when I could walk, I started picking up the bat and going out in the side yard and throwing with Dad, catching fly balls, and it just never stopped since then.
Yeah. In practice, how many ground balls do you have to take at positions? Coach is probably tough on you about ground balls, right?
Yeah, we take quite a few during practice. We normally go around the infield 3-4 times.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk to the guy on the end down there. He plays football, basketball, and baseball, right, Garrett?
That's right.
All right. What sport do you prefer the most?
My favorite would probably be basketball, but I think I'm better at baseball.
Well, that's good. And your dad probably likes that idea too.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. What positions do you play?
I'm like Woody, I play all of them. I prefer center, but since we're so young this year, I have to catch a little bit every now and then, and then I pitch some, so that's about it.
You have to cover a lot of ground out there when you play center field, don't you? Yeah. That's a tough position if you're a center fielder. Hey, you got to move. You got to cover both sides.
Yeah, you got to be on your horse.
Yeah. Oh, tell us a little bit about your teammates. You're what, a senior? Yeah. That you've got. Tell us about some of your teammates.
Well, we got 5 seniors. One that played his freshman year and didn't play his sophomore and junior. He finally decided to come back out. Jaden Luttrell. And other seniors, we got Trent Cordry, Woody, and Austin Spence, and myself. Other than that, we got a lot of freshmen, a couple sophomore, a few juniors. Just a good group of guys.
Yeah. Well, great. You've been playing since you were very young too, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. All the way up since T-ball.
And got to play with your brother some?
Just throwing.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's 5 years older, so.
Is he pretty tough on you in practice like Dad?
He tries.
Well, that's good. Well, you are quite an athlete, and what are your plans after you graduate?
It's either going to be Wittenberg or Rio Grande. I had to visit today at Rio Grande. Hopefully going to play a little baseball. If not, just going to major in education.
Your dad probably knows that East Clinton has a connection to Rio Grande down there. Not only with Robin Luck, but Coach Lawhorn, that coached at East Clinton basketball for years.
So Dustin Miller goes there.
Yeah. So that's a great school and has a great connection to East Clinton.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Well, fantastic. Any thoughts on your athletic career at East Clinton?
I had blast all through all 4 years, and I enjoyed it, and time I played with my friends and all that.
Yeah, you've had some great teammates in all the sports that you played with.
Oh yeah, from the top, even graduates from my freshman year to last year.
Yeah.
Losing that class of what was Austin's class? Austin Miller. 2 years ago, Austin Miller.
Yeah.
And that was a great class there.
You've got to play with some in a couple of sports this year. You've got to play with some guys I know you'll miss: Dalton, Floyd, and Clyde on the football and basketball court. So you've had some good guys this year as well. So, any other comments you'd like to make, Woody? You're a pretty quiet guy.
Not that I can think of at the moment. I mean, like Jared said, all these past 4 years I've had a blast playing high school sports. I believe that we've built our golf program up in which I play in these past couple of years. This past fall, the boys golf team ended up winning the county tournament, which I was very pleased with.
Sure.
Wilmington held that title for the past 10 years, and we stepped up and ended up beating them in the county tournament and in the regular season.
That's great. Where do you play most of your home golf outings at?
We mostly play at Snow Hill Country Club in New Vienna.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great place to play.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well,
course.
Yeah, I just wish I knew how to play golf better to enjoy it more. But you'll have to give me some lessons down the road sometime. But yeah, well, let's get back here with the coach again. And over the years, you've and being an assistant coach, you've seen some pretty good ball players come through the system.
Oh yeah. Well, like Jared said, the class of 2 years ago with Austin and Bryce Bean and all them boys, that was probably one of the better bunch of boys that came through our program. Of course, the funnest part of it was probably my oldest boys' senior year. They were a close group, and we walked out there with 6 seniors then, and with Bryce and all them guys, they walked out with 7 seniors. And this year we'll have 5. So unfortunately, last year we ended up we had 1 senior. Unfortunately, we lost him to graduation, but. I would say, I was looking forward to the 8 returning lettermen that we had. We walked into this season with only 4 returning starters and 5 lettermen. So we got a young group that they're going to have to grow into the varsity role. I've got a couple of them. Ethan Cornwell, he's done a pretty good job for us, and Cam Connor, he came up and he stepped it up in the last couple games. Well, the only 2 games that we got. He's one of them kids that comes up to you and say, "Where you need me?"
Yeah.
So,
and you need a lot of kids like that.
Yeah, and so I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. I think we'll be once we get the young nerves out of the way.
Oh yeah.
I think we put together a pretty good ball club. So.
Yeah. Well, good. What other sports did you play in
I
school?
played all 3. I played football. I played basketball up to my sophomore year, and then I played baseball all my life.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Jared. His basketball was his favorite. Baseball was his best. My favorite was football. And my best was baseball.
Yeah. Okay.
So, just bleach scarlet and gray.
Yeah, absolutely. As an East Clinton alumni, I can attest to that too. And this is a great area of the county to live in and work in.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, what do you do besides coaching? I know you have to do something else, probably.
Yeah, I'm a supervisor at Fulfillment Center up in London, Ohio. So
Oh, okay.
third shift, so
Yeah.
ready to go to work.
Yeah, you're getting ready to go to work, and you like that third shift?
Oh, I've done it since I started working.
Okay. Well, it takes some getting used to in the beginning, but it's once you get used to it, then you go the other way, then you're kind of lost. You can't sleep right. I understand.
I've done it for a couple of years at Home Depot, and I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I don't like long walks.
Yeah. So you've got the 2 boys. You have any other children?
No, that's the only 2 that I have. Well, other than my baseball boys.
Yeah. They're like family, aren't they?
Taking them under their wings, class of '09, they still call me coach.
Yep.
That's something that next best thing to dad. I guess.
I know I coached years ago. I coached probably 10, 12 years. I still see kids on the street that call me coach. I don't know if they ever knew my first name. They just call me coach.
Makes you feel good.
Oh, it sure does. It sure does. But, your wife's sitting over there. She's smiling. She even got a couple of pictures. I hope her camera's still working with me in it.
Both of us were in trouble.
Yeah. Well, it's great to have you guys on. And we have anybody else here with you? Is it just these 2 guys?
Just these 2.
All right. But it's been great to have you on. I want you to get out there and carry on that Astro tradition and get some games. What's your schedule like the rest of the way?
Busy. We were supposed to have 4 games this week and ended up with only 1 game. We got Chillicothe tomorrow, which is another league game. I mean, we played Blanchester for game 1 and then jumped right into league play.
Yeah.
We got beat last night by Greenfield 11-1. We were in the game and they just got hot in the 6th inning. So, I was really impressed yesterday by the way we came out and hit the ball. We walked out there with 8 hits and with only 5 strikeouts. So they came ready to play last night. Just unfortunately, it was they came to play in the 6th inning.
Yeah. Well, sometimes teams can just get hot and not much you can do about it.
Yep.
But hopefully next time it'll be your turn.
Yep.
Yeah. What's the SCOL baseball like this year?
I'm pretty sure that they lost a lot through Miami Trace and Courthouse, but Courthouse has still got probably one of the best arms in the league, Josh Williams. He really put a hurt on us in the last couple of years. Clint Massey's really put together a pretty good program.
Yeah.
What I've seen in the last couple of years, and my opinion is they're probably going to be the league favorites. I would like to see us be up there in the top, and hopefully with a couple more games under our belt, we'll be right there with them.
Yeah. Well, it's been an unusual year, not only for baseball, but all sports is getting games in this year with the winter weather and then the spring rain, and it seems like it rains every other day, and that can mess up practice and mess up your games.
Yeah, the practicing in the gym is not where you want to practice baseball, but they get a lot of ground balls on the inside. The batting cage, of course, is a little unorthodox for them, but it's not live arm, but it's something you got to do.
Yeah.
In Ohio baseball.
Yeah. Who are your pitchers right now?
Well, we got Trenton Cordery. He started off the year for us. We got Jarrett. Woody's a little bit of relief when he's ready. Ethan Cornwell, being a freshman pitcher, he does pretty good. Cam Connor, Also, of course, he plays wherever you want. He just asks where he can play. We've got a few that are relief pitchers. Brent Newman, Wyatt Kessler. He, being a left-hander.
Right.
Sure. So we're kind of trying to groom him into playing on the mound. He's not been too bad, but we haven't got him in game situations.
Yeah.
So other than that, we've got a couple other ones that have thrown, but have never been in this type of environment.
Yeah, you get in the game situations all different than being out there in practice. Just ask some of the major leaguers, because they've seen, like on the Reds, when the ball comes back at you, you better be ready.
Oh yeah, Mr. Chapman.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I don't think he had a chance to react. But there's some balls that you either catch them or get hurt.
Yep, catch them or wear them.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You hit them hard, and you got a glove on your hand.
That's exactly right. Well, I'm going to let you guys go. I know you got to go to work, and I appreciate the boys and appreciate you coming by, Coach, and keep us up to date on the baseball team.
I sure will. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, thanks, Coach James Huff and the boys from East Clinton Varsity baseball team. Well, thank you very much. And we may get another guest over here, so I'll let you guys go. Thanks a lot. Thanks, guys. All right. Thanks, guys. All right. Once again, we're here live at Charlie's Place in Sabina, Ohio, right on the main drag here, and you can come by and enjoy some great food. They have some outstanding food, pizzas, and the whole deal. So don't let Pat get his coat on, Brandon. I might talk to him in a minute. I'll put him to work here for a few minutes. But MC Auto is just downtown, and you can stop in and see the folks at MC Auto as well for a great value on a used vehicle. Once again, we're brought to you by Melvin Liquid Fertilizer, just up the road. It's either a suburb of Wilmington or a suburb of Sabina. They haven't voted on that yet, but Melvin, Ohio is where they're located. Pat Haley, you want to grab that microphone? We'll talk a little Clinton County sports here and baseball. You're an old baseball guy.
I did. I played for Wilmington for all my years in high school.
Yep. And you pitched a little, didn't you?
I did. I was a pitcher. I caught a little bit, mostly a pitcher, and had a good career. Really, I enjoyed baseball. It's been part of my life, and still enjoy going to games. Of course, I'm not playing anymore. But
Yeah.
Still a real avid spectator.
You write a column for the Wilmington News Journal, and recently you had a column in there about just a couple of brief meetings with Pete Rose. You want to tell us about that?
Lee, went to work for Cincinnati Reds in conjunction with Burn Security, and oversaw security for the Reds that year. It was in '89. It just so happened it was the year that Pete was the manager of the Reds. And, of course, the gambling investigation was an ongoing thing. And just interacted with him. Seemed, I really liked his personality. Some people kind of thought he was a wise guy, but, he was a funny man.
Yeah.
And I see him on TV, and he still is. He's witty. He has a very quick mind. And
still knows the game of baseball.
Oh, he knows the game of baseball. And it's just unfortunate, really. But in my column last week, I talked about the fact that it's been 25 years ago since he was suspended, and I think we're a forgiving society.
Yes.
And as people we should be, and it's time to put him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I believe so too. There's a lot worse people, I think, in the Hall of Fame than Pete Rose, and he has paid his dues as well. So and nobody's ever had any more hits, and nobody ever played the game any harder than Pete Rose.
No, we were down there the year that he hit it. I think it was in '85, and I remember he was standing on first base and had the ovation, and the first time he had shown much emotion. But I think if anyone has paid dues, it's been Pete, because Hall of Fame means so much to him.
Sure.
Baseball means so much to him. And at a certain point, there's going to be a dilemma in the minds of the sports writers. Are they going to vote in a lot of the people that have used steroids over the years? Did it enhance their careers? That's debatable. But they certainly bulked up for 3 or 4 years
Yeah.
on television. So I think that's a dilemma that they face. Personally, if it were up to me, I would put him in the Hall of Fame. We just need to forgive his transgressions.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like you were talking on the steroid deal, you look at, say, Barry Bonds 10 years before, and then the last 10 years, totally different ball player, totally different physique, totally different body structure.
He was, and of course, you know, I certainly don't know what his dietary habits were, but for a person to be able to bulk up like that, because Barry Bonds, when he first came up, I don't know that you call him skinny, but he was thin.
Right.
We're all thinner in our younger years, but the last few years he looked like Popeye the Sailor.
Oh my!
And some of the other players did too. And I think those steroids that they were taking obviously had some effect on their physical beings.
But in the very beginning of all the, I guess you'd say the steroid area, really they hadn't made it totally illegal at that time.
You know, a lot of the places, the gyms where people worked out, you would see bodybuilders. They would use a lot of these protein mixes. I don't really know anything about them, but many of the substances that they were using, I believe, were legal, and then they outlawed them. And that's the catch-22 I think a lot of those players will find themselves in, because there's going to be doubting reporters who vote for the Hall of Fame. And it would be a tough call. It really would, because the ones you're talking about were superstars in Major League Baseball.
But it was great, I believe it was last year when the Reds got the grade 8 back together, and they all seemed to be very amicable toward each other, and it was great to see them all on the field one more time.
Lee, it really was a historic moment. I, of course, wasn't there, but I did see a lot of the pictures and some of the video. And to see that team together, they will go down in history as one or two of the best teams, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. And it would almost the Cincinnati equivalent of having the 27 Yankees on the field.
1927 Yankees with Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. Wade Hoyt was on that team.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people didn't realize Wade Hoyt was an outstanding, I believe he's in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
And he was a broadcaster for years and years in the old days with the Reds. So.
Nothing like waiting in a rain delay.
That's right. He told a lot of stories.
Oh, my.
Excellent stories, because, you know, I think sometimes, and I do in my column write about a lot of stories, people like memories. People like to go back and reflect once in a while on days of in the past, and I think that he was able to do that. He could certainly tell a tale.
Yeah. You recently, I would say, I don't know where you really say recently, but I guess in the past year you had a book released.
Well, I did. I put together a lot of those stories that I put in the News Journal and added a few more. And I have been a person, Lee, that's just kind of taken notes over the years. When something unusual happens, I make note of it. Not a physical note, I make a mental note of it. And I've been very fortunate to be able to recall those things.
Yes.
And growing up here in Clinton County, as one race here, of course, out Fort William. There's a lot of mutual stories. Because coming up here, we used to play, I was on the Wilmington American Legion team, but we played Sabina at least once or twice every summer. And we were in a very competitive American Legion league with Washington Courthouse. Greenfield had a team, Mount Sterling. Sabina, there were several of them. Dick Mitchner, I don't know if you know Dick. Dick was manager for a few years when I played during the 60s. And, you know, Dick is an interesting story, because he played in the high minors for the Cleveland Indians. And he'll tell you that he knew a lot of the 1950 players. Gordy Coleman was his roommate. Herb Scorer. I heard you talking a few minutes ago about Chapman got hit. Well, Herb Scorer got hit in the eye and actually limited his career. They say that it wasn't the injury, but psychologically it makes you wonder. Because that baseball coming back at speed, it would be hard to dodge it.
But there has been a lot of great sports, and I've talked to you, and I both know Tony Lampkin. He's got a lot of great sports stories too, and we got to get some of those sports stories in a book from Tony. But there has been such legendary rivalries in this whole county. especially when there were all the smaller schools, no consolidation. You get any Friday or Saturday night, you get a whale of a basketball game, and it was pretty competitive. And of course, Wilmington, they were a little bigger than everybody else, but Clinton County sports has a lot of history.
Lee, I remember those days. I was very young. I was in grade school before William played all the county schools. There'd be Simon Kenton at the time, Clarksville, Martinsville had teams, of course, Sabina, Blanchester. I don't know if they played. I think Blanchester was probably involved. Jefferson.
Yes.
And they played in a small school.
Oh, yeah.
Donnie Fields and Donnie DeVoe. It's ironic, but about a year ago, my wife Brenda and I were sitting here. We were having pizza at Charlie's place, and Don DeVoe walked in.
Wow.
His dad lives on Sabina Road. We've known each other all of our lives, so he came over and we were talking about the old days of Fort Wayne.
Oh, my.
And the basketball days and how great it was when all those rivalries existed. And
Sure.
It was a good time. They played their tournaments over at the Dayton, the Xenia Fieldhouse. Lee, we went by there when I wrote that story about the Xenia tornado last week. I went by the Fieldhouse. It's not so big anymore. It looked like a giant coliseum.
Yeah.
School.
Yeah.
But now you go over, it's not very big compared to a high school. It's not as big as Wilmington's gym or
Right.
Clinton's or anyone.
Yeah. I just remember my mom was taught music and was a band director in the 60s and 50s, 60s and 70s. And we'd go to basketball games whenever the band was playing, and we'd see, Martinville would be taking on Clarksville, and Big Jim Credit was playing under the basket. You didn't move Jim. And a lot of other places, Donnie Fields. And those guys, it was just a lot of fun back then.
It really was. It was a different type of ball because they didn't have the 3-point. It wasn't really as strategic either.
No.
Take the ball down the floor, shoot it, rebound,
Right.
down the other end, block out, run a few plays. But I bet your mother, of course, played on the stages, didn't she?
Oh, sure. There's a lot of times, yeah.
They would play on the stage when all the...
You get some place like Jefferson, didn't hardly have a place for you other than the stage, so...
I remember that the players out of Fort William, the basketball players themselves, would sit right on the floor. And also on crowded nights, they'd have fans sitting on the floor. Well, it wasn't unusual.
Yeah.
Somebody stick their foot out.
Oh, yeah.
To an opposing player.
Yeah.
Today they've cleared the house.
Oh, they would. It'd go crazy. But, you wonder if there were 3-point shooting back then, people like Donnie Fields and Phil Snow and some of those guys. I wonder how many points they would have really scored if there was 3-point shooting back then.
Donnie Fields, he was number 4 or 5 in the state scoring for years. Years until the 3-point came along. And I would think, Lee, because when I watched him play, the majority of the points he made were 3-pointers.
Yep.
Of course, you have to understand, Fort William's gym, half court was not too much.
Right.
Area now, but that's where he shot from. And his ability, or Phil Snow. I mean, they were just uncanny. They were just a jump shot.
Yeah. I remember a guy down in Martinsville by the name of Tom Custis, who's still a barber. Boy, you get past the half-court line, Tom was ready to fire the ball. If he had the ball in his hands, he'd shoot till he got hot or shoot till he got cold. But guys like that, they were fun to watch.
Jerry Reinhardt.
Oh, yeah.
Greg Ziegler. Down Martinsville.
Oh, yeah.
They made the transition to Wilmington during consolidation. They were good ball players.
Gary was one of those guys that his dad had him out. He would shoot 100 shots in his driveway around the lane every night. And, boy, he could shoot it.
I just recently watched a documentary on Larry Bird. He lived in French Lick. It was about the size of Sabina.
Right.
And years ago, my son Greg and I went over, and we looked at the town. Of course, he was playing for the Celtics at the time.
Right.
But he had, in his home, just an old basket. It looked like had been hanging there for years, and that's what he did. He shot hundreds and hundreds of shots over his formative years. And when he went to Boston, he couldn't miss.
Oh, no. He was unbelievable. And I think it was the national championship game with him and Magic. That was a whale of a ball game, too.
1979.
Yep.
It was. I think Magic's Michigan State, wasn't it? they beat them, but they were kind of a Cinderella team, Indiana State.
Yeah.
It was interesting because Larry Bird, he went to Indiana and
Yeah.
played with Bob Knight.
Mm-hmm.
And some speculated they had a falling out, but he really didn't. The problem was he came from a town of 2,000, and the school itself had 20,000.
Yeah.
He couldn't make that adjustment.
Yeah, that would make a adjustment.
He only stayed about 2 months, and he went home, and he went to work for the sanitation department of French Lick, Indiana.
Mhm.
He rode on the back of a garbage truck. And they say now he goes home quite a bit, and you'll see him out there mowing the grass of his sister's home.
Mhm.
They have some
Yeah.
property there, I guess.
Yeah.
So he's just a normal guy.
And they were a little different eras, and I don't think they really crossed paths much, but it'd been nice to see him against Michael Jordan or somebody in that era, because Larry could shoot the ball, and he didn't miss very much.
They talked about how Larry was an old-fashioned basketball
Mhm.
player. He passed the ball, he set others up, he was a good shot,
Mhm.
good rebounder, but he wasn't the type that jumped very high.
Right.
He could dunk it, but it was an effort.
Yeah.
Lee, when I was in high school, if you could touch the rim,
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
you could dunk it.
Right.
I remember in the early 1960s, Marvin Gregory.
Yep.
dunked the ball. You remember that?
I remember Marvin, yeah.
Marvin could dunk the ball, and everybody would just go crazy when that happened. But he
Yeah.
was only one of the few in the league that could do it. Even
Yeah.
if tall guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was an
you,
interesting time.
yeah, and you didn't see people attempt to dunk very often back then. I mean, you worked around and you got the ball and you got a shot and took a good shot. You didn't just try to jam it in there. So,
And today, you'll see a 5'10", 5'9"
Mhm.
guard come down the floor on fast break. He'll dunk the
oh
ball.
yeah, unbelievable.
Unbelievable how they jump.
Yeah. Well, I thank you very much for stopping by. It's a great surprise to have you here, but you're welcome anytime.
Well, we come up to Charlie's all the time. We enjoy the food, and we knew you were coming tonight. Just want to come up and be with you and give you our support.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thanks, Pat. Well, that just about wraps it up here at Charlie's Place. I want to thank our sponsors, of course, Charlie's Place here at Sabina, for our the hospitality. I want to thank MC Auto just down the street a little ways, Mike Crow and company down there. And we also want to thank our sponsor, Melvin Liquid Fertilizer, on US 22 at Melvin, Ohio, actually a Wilmington address. Custom agricultural application, liquid and dry fertilizers, custom agricultural chemical application, soil sampling, crop planting, seed sales. Call my man Paul Harris at 937-584-2451 for your agricultural crop needs. That wraps it up on the Astros Sports Channel. Thanks to our guest, Coach James Huff, and a couple of players, and also Pat Haley for being our guest. And by the way, Pat is commissioner here in Clinton County, too, so we didn't get into that, but a lot of great sports memories here. That wraps it up for our show. I'm Lee Hendy. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Thank you.